Hey everyone, and welcome back to the English Hour. I'm Sophia, and today we've got another exciting conversation lined up. Joining me is my amazing guest, Jacob. How's it going today, Jacob?
Hey, Sophia, it's going great. I'm excited to be here again. There's always something new to talk about, and today feels like it's going to be a really interesting episode.
Absolutely today. We're going to dive into something that's been on my mind a lot recently. How important it is to stay curious and open-minded in the learning process. It's easy to fall into a routine or get comfortable with what we know, but curiosity is what drives true growth. Jacob, what do you think about that?
I couldn't agree more, Sophia. Curiosity is such a powerful force. It's what keeps you from getting stagnant. If you're always asking, what's next? Or how can I understand this better? It's like your brain is constantly looking for ways to improve, adapt, and grow. It's that hunger for knowledge that pushes us forward.
That's so true. And I think curiosity is what makes learning feel exciting, right? When you're curious, you're not just going through the motions. You're actively exploring, discovering new things, and seeing things from different perspectives. It's what keeps you engaged.
Exactly. And when you're curious, it opens up all sorts of possibilities. You start to see the world in a more creative way. For example, in language learning, if you're curious about how a word or a phrase is used in different contexts, you'll pick up more than just the textbook definition. You'll understand the nuances, the culture behind it, and the way people actually use it.
I love that. Curiosity brings depth to learning. It's not just about memorizing facts. It's about understanding the bigger picture. And I think that's where people can get stuck sometimes. They focus so much on the how, but forget about the why behind what they're learning. What do you think?
Absolutely. When you're just going through the motions, it's easy to forget why you started in the first place. But when you stay curious, you keep asking why. You ask, why does this work this way? What's the history behind this idea? How does this connect to something else? And that's when learning becomes truly exciting.
Yes, and curiosity doesn't just have to be about big topics. It can be in the small details, too. Maybe it's wondering why a sentence is structured a certain way, or how a small change in a routine can improve your day. It's about digging deeper into the little things that can make a big difference.
That's a great point. The small details often hold the biggest answers. And sometimes it's those little curiosities that lead to bigger discoveries. For instance, in video games, you might wonder how a particular mechanic works, and then before you know it, you've uncovered a whole new layer of strategy or storytelling that you didn't notice before.
I totally get that. It's like unlocking hidden features in a game. You start with one small question, and suddenly, you realize there's a whole world of details waiting to be explored. And I think that's what makes learning so much fun. It's never really done. There's always something new to discover.
That's what makes it a lifelong journey. There's always something around the corner, whether it's a new topic, a new technique, or a new way of thinking. Curiosity keeps that spark alive. Even when we reach a certain level of expertise, curiosity pushes us to go deeper, to keep exploring, and to never settle.
And I think that's something we should all remind ourselves of. Whether we're learning a new language, a new skill, or just trying to get better at something we already know, curiosity is the key to unlocking even greater understanding.
Definitely. And another thing I love about curiosity is how it encourages us to be more flexible. When you're curious, you're more open to new ideas, new approaches, and new ways of doing things. It prevents you from getting stuck in your ways and helps you embrace change rather than fear it.
That's a powerful way to look at it. Curiosity leads to adaptability. And being adaptable is so important in today's world, where everything is changing so fast. Whether it's technology, trends, or even how we communicate, being open to learning and exploring new things keeps us relevant and ready for whatever comes next.
Exactly. Curiosity is what allows us to stay ahead of the curve. If we're not curious, we risk falling behind or missing out on opportunities. But if we stay curious and open, we're always ready to adapt and grow with the world around us.
I think that's one of the greatest things about being curious. It keeps you engaged in the world, and it makes you feel like you're actively participating in life. It's not about passively absorbing information, it's about exploring, questioning, and making discoveries along the way.
Yes, and I think that's what makes the learning process so fulfilling. It's not just about reaching the end goal. It's about enjoying the ride, discovering new things, and realizing that learning doesn't have to be a chore. It can be something you genuinely look forward to.
And that's a mindset that can completely transform how we approach not just learning but life itself. When we approach each day with curiosity, it's like we're stepping into an adventure where we're constantly growing, discovering, and evolving.
Absolutely. Every day becomes an opportunity to learn something new, whether it's in the big things or the small moments. And the more we embrace that, the more we realize just how much there is to explore in this world.
So true. And to everyone listening, I encourage you to stay curious. Keep asking questions, dig deeper, and don't be afraid to explore the unknown. The world is full of amazing things waiting for you to discover.
That's right. Curiosity is the fuel for lifelong learning. So never stop exploring and keep that spark alive.
Thanks for being here with us today, Jacob, and thank you to everyone listening. Keep that curiosity alive, and we'll see you in the next episode. You know, Jacob, as we've been talking about curiosity and lifelong learning, I've been thinking about how important it is to also stay patient with ourselves during this journey. It's so easy to get frustrated when things don't happen as quickly as we'd like. What's your take on that?
Oh, I totally agree. Patience is key. Sometimes we expect things to click right away, and when they don't, it's easy to feel discouraged. But what we often forget is that real growth takes time. It's like planting a seed, you have to nurture it, give it time to grow, and trust the process. If you pull it up too soon, you'll never see it bloom.
That's such a beautiful way to put it. Growth is a slow process, and the most valuable things we learn take time to fully develop. I think one of the hardest parts about learning is trusting that even when we can't see immediate results, we're still making progress.
Exactly. And sometimes the progress isn't always obvious at first. You might feel like you're stuck or not improving, but in reality, every experience, every little bit of effort, is moving you forward in some way. It's just not always visible right away.
Yes, and sometimes, the progress is happening inside, on a deeper level. Maybe you're becoming more resilient, learning to stay calm under pressure, or developing a new perspective. Those aren't always measurable in the same way as passing a test or finishing a project, but they're still incredibly important.
Definitely. And I think patience also helps us avoid burnout. If we're always pushing ourselves too hard and expecting immediate results, we risk burning out before we even get to the rewarding part. But if we pace ourselves and take things one step at a time, we can enjoy the process and stay energized for the long haul.
That's a great point. It's about balance, isn't it? Balancing the drive to improve with the patience to allow the process to unfold. And when we can find that balance, we can sustain our efforts and continue learning without feeling overwhelmed.
Exactly. And I think that's where curiosity and patience work together. Curiosity keeps us engaged, while patience allows us to stay grounded in the moment and trust that we're making progress, even when things feel slow.
It's like a dance between pushing ourselves to explore and being kind to ourselves when things don't go as planned. Both are essential parts of the learning process, and together, they create a much more fulfilling journey.
I couldn't have said it better. It's all about being gentle with yourself while also staying curious about what comes next. Both the high points and the low points contribute to the overall picture of our growth.
And as we grow, we start to realize that it's not just about what we're learning, but also about who we're becoming in the process. Every new skill or insight adds to our story, and that's something worth celebrating, even if it doesn't look perfect at first.
Absolutely. We're all works in progress, And that's something to be proud of. The fact that we're continuing to learn, continuing to try, that in itself is a victory. And the more we embrace that, the more confident we become in our own abilities.
So, to everyone listening, don't be too hard on yourself. Embrace your own journey, stay curious, and trust that every step you take is part of the bigger picture. Growth doesn't happen overnight, but every day is an opportunity to take one more step forward.
That's right. Keep learning, keep growing, and remember progress is progress, no matter how small it might seem.
Thanks again for being with us today, Jacob, and thank you to all of you listening. We hope you leave this episode feeling inspired to stay curious and patient with yourself on your own journey of growth. Catch you next time. I feel like there's always so much more we could talk about when it comes to curiosity and patience, Jacob. Don't you think these two concepts are so intertwined? I mean, they almost work hand in hand in shaping how we approach learning and life in general.
Absolutely. The relationship between curiosity and patience is like the foundation of growth. Curiosity sparks the desire to explore, to question, and to discover. But patience is what gives us the endurance to continue exploring, even when the answers don't come right away. It's like an engine. Curiosity is the fuel, and patience is the strength that keeps the engine running.
I love that analogy. Curiosity can drive you to keep searching. But patience is what keeps you from getting frustrated or giving up when the path isn't as clear as you'd like it to be. It's about having the faith that things will click eventually.
Exactly. And I think it's important to remember that curiosity doesn't mean having all the answers right away. It's about being comfortable with the uncertainty and enjoying the process of finding those answers bit by bit. Patience helps us embrace that uncertainty.
Right. It's like trusting the process even when you don't see immediate results. Sometimes, the beauty is in the journey itself, not just the destination. When you can get excited about the small discoveries along the way, the entire experience becomes so much more rewarding.
You know, it's funny, but I think the best discoveries often come when we least expect them. Sometimes, when we stop actively searching for answers and just allow ourselves to absorb new things without pressure, something amazing happens. The connections form naturally, and we realize we've grown in ways we didn't even anticipate.
That's so true. It's often in those moments of relaxed curiosity that the most insightful realizations come to us. And that's where the magic happens, when we let go of the need for immediate answers and just enjoy the process of exploration.
Exactly. It's almost like a quiet excitement that builds over time. Instead of feeling like we need to rush to the finish line, we begin to savor the little moments of discovery. And that makes the whole journey feel more meaningful.
And I think that's something we could all learn to appreciate. More the value of slowing down and taking time to really understand the world around us. Whether it's through learning, exploring, or just living day to day, there's so much beauty in simply being present and curious.
That's a great point. Sometimes we're so focused on the end goal that we forget to appreciate how much we're actually learning and growing along the way. Curiosity teaches us to appreciate the small steps, and patience helps us recognize that each step is an important part of the bigger picture.
And I think, too, it's about realizing that growth doesn't always look linear. Some days, you feel like you've made huge progress, and other days, it feels like you're back at square one. But that's completely normal. It's all part of the journey, and the key is to keep moving forward at your own pace.
Exactly, the learning process is rarely a straight line. There are bumps, detours, and sometimes moments when you feel like you've hit a wall. But those moments don't define you, it's how you keep going, how you keep staying curious and patient with yourself. That shapes the journey.
Well said. And those detours can often be the most valuable experiences, too. Sometimes, when you take a different path than expected, you discover things you never would have found otherwise. It's like life's little surprises, right?
Oh, definitely. Some of the most unexpected experiences turn out to be the most valuable lessons. The key is to stay open to those moments and trust that even when things don't go as planned, they're still contributing to your growth.
I think we've touched on some really important ideas today. Jacob, the importance of curiosity, patience, and trusting the process. It's all about embracing the journey and being open to whatever comes next.
Absolutely, Sophia. Curiosity keeps the flame alive, and patience helps us stay grounded. Together, they create a path of continuous learning and growth that never stops. And it's a journey worth every step, no matter how slow it may seem.
Well, I think that's a perfect note to end on for today. Thank you so much, Jacob, for your insights. It's always such a pleasure chatting with you.
The pleasure's all mine, Sophia, always a great time. Thanks for having me.
And to everyone listening, remember to stay curious, stay patient, and never stop learning. We'll catch you next time on the English Hour. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future episodes. See you soon. Before we wrap up, Jacob, I think it's worth mentioning one more thing that really ties everything together. And that's the idea of consistency. When you talk about curiosity and patience, they're only effective if you keep showing up every day. It's the small, consistent actions that really add up over time, don't you think?
Absolutely, consistency is everything. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of a new goal or project, but without consistency, that initial excitement can fade away. When you commit to being curious and patient, even on the tough days, that's when real growth happens.
Yes, and consistency doesn't mean always being perfect. It's about showing up, even if it's just a little bit every day. Some days you might feel like you've made huge strides, and other days, you might feel like you're treading water. But as long as you keep going, that's what counts.
Exactly. And I think it's also important to celebrate the small wins along the way. Whether it's learning something new, making a small improvement, or simply sticking with it when things get tough, those moments deserve to be acknowledged. It's all part of the journey.
Absolutely. Celebrating those small wins can keep you motivated and remind you that the journey is just as important as the destination. When you're consistent with your curiosity and patience, those little victories accumulate, and before you know it, you've come a long way.
It's like building a muscle. The more consistent you are, the stronger you get, even if you don't notice the progress right away. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come.
That's a great analogy. Growth, whether it's personal, intellectual, or creative, is a gradual process. And the beauty of consistency is that it makes the journey smoother, even when the road gets tough. You trust the process, and eventually, you'll get to where you want to be.
And the best part is that the journey itself becomes fulfilling. The challenges, the learning, the moments of frustration, they all contribute to who you become along the way. So, while the destination is important, the process is what truly shapes you.
Well said, Jacob. So, to everyone listening, remember it's the little steps, the daily actions, and the consistency that make all the difference. Stay curious, stay patient, and most importantly, stay consistent. The progress may be slow, but it's always worth it in the end.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks again for having me, Sophia. I really enjoyed our conversation today.
It's been a pleasure, Jacob. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll catch you in the next episode of the English Hour. Until then, keep growing, keep learning, and keep being curious. You know, Jacob, as we talk more about consistency and progress, it makes me think about how important it is to keep adjusting our approach along the way. Sometimes, what worked for us in the beginning might not be as effective down the road. How do you think people should approach these changes as they grow?
That's such a good point, Sophia. As we grow and learn, it's natural that our methods and approaches will need to evolve. I think it's important to stay flexible and be open to change. If something isn't working, don't be afraid to adjust. Growth isn't just about pushing through, but also about recognizing when it's time to switch gears.
Exactly. And I think one of the hardest things is letting go of what we thought was working. Especially if it's something we've invested a lot of time and energy into. It can feel like failure at the moment. But it's actually a sign of growth when we're willing to adapt.
That's a tough but necessary mindset shift. It's not about giving up, it's about realizing that what worked for you before might not work anymore. And that's okay. There's strength in being adaptable and knowing that adjusting your course can lead to even better results.
It's like navigating through a maze. At first, you follow one path, but then you realize it's a dead end. Instead of getting frustrated, you take a moment to reassess and find a new route. That's how we build resilience, by learning to navigate these changes with an open mind.
I love that analogy. It's all about how we approach obstacles, isn't it? Rather than seeing them as roadblocks, we can view them as opportunities to reassess and find a better path forward. The more adaptable we are, the more we can make progress, even when things don't go as planned.
Absolutely. And I think that's where curiosity comes in too. Curiosity drives us to seek out new ways to improve, to question why things might not be working, and to explore alternative solutions. It's about looking for new ways to approach challenges, not just sticking with the same old methods.
And that's what keeps us growing, right? If we stay curious about new techniques, new ideas, or even new perspectives, we're always learning and evolving. And each time we adapt, we get a little stronger, a little smarter, and a little more confident in our ability to handle whatever comes our way.
It's such a powerful cycle. The more we learn and adapt, the more we realize that there's always room for improvement. And the more we improve, the more confident we feel in our ability to handle future challenges. It's like this continuous loop of growth.
And what's amazing about that cycle is that it never really ends. There's always something new to discover, another way to evolve, and new challenges to face. So the journey never truly stops. It's an ongoing process that's always rewarding, no matter how long it takes.
You're right, Jacob. The journey is always ongoing, and every challenge we face adds to our story. Whether we're making small tweaks to our approach, or completely changing our direction, it's all part of the adventure.
And I think that's what makes it exciting. Every day brings a new opportunity to learn something different, to try something new, and to grow in ways we didn't expect. And that's what keeps us coming back for more.
Exactly. So, for anyone listening today, remember that growth isn't a straight line, and it's okay to change course when you need to. Stay curious, stay adaptable, and embrace the journey, because each step forward is part of your progress.
Absolutely. Embrace the process and trust that every experience, whether smooth or challenging, is shaping you into the person you're meant to become.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much, Jacob, for such an insightful conversation. I've really enjoyed hearing your thoughts.
The pleasure's been mine, Sophia. Always a great time.
And thank you to everyone listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll catch you in the next episode of the English Hour. Stay curious, stay patient, and keep growing. You know, Jacob, as we're wrapping up, I just realized something really important. All of this ties back to something we mentioned earlier about embracing uncertainty. When we're in the process of change, we can't always see what's ahead. But that's where curiosity truly shines, right?
Absolutely, Sophia. When we embrace uncertainty, curiosity becomes the tool that helps us navigate through it. Instead of fearing the unknown, we start to explore it. Curiosity gives us the drive to move forward, even when we don't have all the answers yet.
I think that's one of the most powerful things about curiosity. It allows us to approach new challenges with a sense of wonder rather than fear. We might not know what lies ahead, but we're excited to find out, and that makes all the difference.
Exactly. And with that mindset, you start to view every challenge as an opportunity to learn something new. It takes the pressure off because you're not expected to have everything figured out right away. Instead, you're allowed to explore, fail, learn, and grow.
I love that. Curiosity lets us see failure as a natural part of the learning process, rather than something to be avoided. If we're curious, we can approach failure with an open mind, learn from it, and use it to guide us forward.
That's such an important point. Failures are often stepping stones, not setbacks. It's like learning to walk. We fall down a few times, but each time we get a little better at balancing and moving forward. Curiosity and patience let us keep getting up and trying again.
Exactly. And I think that's the kind of mindset that helps us stay motivated in the long run. If we're constantly curious, even the toughest moments can become learning experiences. And when we're patient with ourselves, we give ourselves the grace to grow at our own pace.
Absolutely. And, the amazing thing about curiosity is that it doesn't just apply to learning new skills or knowledge. It also applies to relationships, experiences, and personal growth. Being curious about others, about our own feelings and reactions, opens up so many possibilities for understanding and connection.
Yes, that's so true. Curiosity isn't just about seeking answers, it's about exploring the world around us and diving deeper into everything we encounter. Whether it's understanding other people's perspectives or discovering something new about ourselves, curiosity enriches every aspect of life.
It really does. It turns everyday experiences into opportunities for growth and understanding. The more we're curious about the world, the more we learn not just about the things around us, but about ourselves as well.
And I think that's what makes life so exciting. There's always something new to discover. And when you approach it with curiosity, you never stop learning, growing, and evolving.
Exactly, life's full of endless possibilities, and curiosity is the key to unlocking them. Whether we're facing challenges or enjoying success, curiosity allows us to keep exploring and expanding our understanding, one discovery at a time.
Well, I think we've definitely covered some amazing ground today, Jacob. Your thoughts have been so enlightening, as always.
Thank you, Sophia. I've really enjoyed this conversation. It's always a pleasure to dive deep into topics like curiosity, patience, and personal growth.
And thank you to everyone listening. We hope you found today's conversation inspiring and thought-provoking. Remember, stay curious, stay patient, and never stop learning. We'll catch you in the next episode of the English Hour. Take care. Jacob, something that just came to mind is how curiosity can really help us in those moments when we feel stuck or uninspired. It's easy to fall into a routine where things start to feel repetitive. But if we stay curious, we can always find something fresh to motivate us.
That's so true, Sophia. It's normal to hit those walls sometimes, especially when you've been working on something for a long time. But curiosity lets us step back, ask new questions, and explore different angles. It's like pressing the reset button for creativity and motivation.
Exactly. And when you allow yourself to look at things from a new perspective, it's amazing how much more exciting you can get. Even something as simple as changing the way you approach a problem or task can reignite that sense of adventure and curiosity.
Definitely. And curiosity doesn't have to mean searching for brand new ideas all the time. It can be about getting curious about the little details. Maybe you start to wonder why something works a certain way, or you get interested in learning about how a specific process came to be. It's those small moments of curiosity that add up to big discoveries.
Oh, I love that point. Sometimes the smallest question or observation can lead to the biggest breakthroughs. It's all about paying attention to the little things that we might overlook in our rush to get things done.
Right, and sometimes those little questions can lead us to new skills or even spark entirely new passions. That's the beauty of curiosity. It's like an open door to so many possibilities, even in places we least expect.
It really is like an open door. And I think curiosity is also key when it comes to personal growth. We don't always have to have it all figured out. Sometimes, the best thing we can do is stay curious about what we're capable of and how we can improve.
Exactly. Personal growth isn't a destination, it's an ongoing process. And curiosity is what keeps it dynamic. Instead of feeling like you're stuck or limited, curiosity opens up new avenues for exploration. You start to ask, how can I improve today? What new thing can I learn?
And that shift in mindset can be so powerful. Instead of focusing on what's missing or what's not working, you're focusing on all the things you can learn and achieve. Curiosity can really transform those moments of self-doubt into moments of opportunity.
It's that mindset of abundance, isn't it? When you're curious, you're not just focused on what's in front of you, you're also thinking about all the potential paths ahead. It makes everything feel more open and accessible, even in the toughest times.
Yes, exactly. It takes away that sense of limitation. Instead of seeing obstacles, you start to see them as challenges to explore and learn from. Curiosity shifts the way we interact with the world around us.
And that's what makes it so exciting. Every day brings a new chance to grow, discover, and change. If we embrace that mindset, we're never really stuck. We're just in a place of learning, figuring out our next step, and finding new ways to move forward.
What a great way to put it, Jacob. Curiosity really is the fuel that keeps our journey going, no matter where we are or how challenging things may seem.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember that curiosity is for everyone, no matter where they're starting from. You don't need to have everything figured out, you just need to be willing to ask questions and explore. That's what makes all the difference.
So true. It's about embracing the unknown with a sense of excitement and possibility. The more curious we are, the more we open ourselves up to growth, connection, and discovery.
And when we embrace curiosity, we're not just transforming ourselves, but we're also making the world around us richer and more interesting. Every curious person brings something new to the table, and that's what makes life so vibrant.
I couldn't agree more, Jacob. It's what makes our conversations, and really every interaction, so valuable. The willingness to explore new ideas, learn from each other, and share in that growth. It's been a wonderful discussion.
I'm so glad we had this conversation, Sophia. It's always a pleasure to dive into these deep topics with you.
And thank you to everyone listening. We hope this episode sparked some curiosity in your own journey. Stay curious, stay patient, and keep exploring. We'll see you in the next episode of the English Hour. Until then, take care. You know, Jacob, as we talk about curiosity and growth, I can't help but think about how much it also connects to our relationships with others. Curiosity about the people around us can lead to stronger, more meaningful connections. Have you found that to be true in your own life?
Absolutely. Sophia, I think the most fulfilling relationships come from a genuine curiosity about others, their thoughts, experiences, and perspectives. When you're curious about someone, you're not just listening to respond, you're listening to understand. And that makes all the difference.
That's such an important point. When you approach relationships with curiosity, you stop seeing things as just black and white. You start to appreciate the layers of each person's story and the experiences that shape their views. It creates more empathy, doesn't it?
Exactly. And it's so refreshing because instead of assuming you know everything about someone, curiosity keeps you open to learning more about them. It reminds you that everyone has their own unique experiences and wisdom to share, and it keeps the relationship dynamic and evolving.
It also helps break down barriers, I think. When we're genuinely curious about others, we start to look past our differences and find common ground. It makes us more inclusive and more understanding, especially in today's world, where it can feel like people are more divided than ever.
Yes, it's about building bridges, not walls. Curiosity helps us engage with people on a deeper level, and it encourages us to ask questions and explore topics that we might not have otherwise considered. It's through these conversations that we begin to understand each other's perspectives and grow together.
And it's not just about asking the big questions either. Sometimes, the small, everyday questions can create the most meaningful connections. How was your day? Or, what's something you've been thinking about lately? Those simple inquiries can open up a world of conversation.
Exactly. It's those little moments of curiosity that really strengthen a relationship. It shows the other person that you care enough to want to know more about their life, their feelings, and their thoughts. It fosters trust and makes the connection feel more authentic.
It really does. And I think curiosity also helps us grow in our own lives. By learning about others, we learn about ourselves too. We challenge our own assumptions, discover new ideas, and become more open-minded in the process.
That's a beautiful way to put it. We all carry our own biases and blind spots, but when we engage with people with genuine curiosity, we start to see the world through their eyes. And that's a powerful way to broaden our own perspectives.
Yes, it's a never-ending cycle. The more curious we are about others, the more we discover about ourselves. And the more we discover about ourselves, the better equipped we are to truly understand and appreciate the people around us.
That's the beauty of it. Curiosity is a tool for growth that works both ways. It helps us connect, learn, and evolve, not just as individuals, but as part of a larger community. It creates a deeper, more meaningful bond between us all.
So true. And for everyone listening, I think this is a great reminder that curiosity isn't just something we apply to our own personal growth or learning. It's something we can use to enrich our relationships with others too. It's a way to bring more understanding, connection, and empathy into our interactions.
Absolutely. So, as we wrap up today's episode, we encourage everyone to take a moment to be curious about the people around them, to ask more questions, listen more deeply, and really engage with others on a meaningful level. It'll enrich your relationships in ways you might not expect.
Well said, Jacob. And once again, thank you to everyone for tuning in. Keep your curiosity alive, stay open to learning, and don't forget to share, like, and subscribe for more episodes of the English Hour. We'll catch you next time. And until then, keep growing and connecting.
Take care, everyone. Looking forward to our next conversation.